You're tuned in to the TVL Rundown, a comprehensive look at the athletics and athletes within the Twin Valley League. Joined by Jeff Wurtz of the TVL Spotlight, I'm Max Blaske with KNDY. The TVL Rundown is a service of the Citizens National Bank in Greenleaf and Bruna Implement.
Another reason to make the Citizens National Bank your bank. With the century of experience, you know you can count on us for convenient banking and personal service for people you know and trust. With extended hours and online banking for all your financial needs. Another reason to make the Citizens National Bank your bank.
For the best in farming equipment with the service to back it, there is only one Bruna Implement Company, your local Case IH dealer. Since 1947, the staff at Bruna Implement Company works daily to provide the best parts and service when you need it, always dedicated to their customers. Bruna Implement Company has been family-owned for 3 generations, and they know what it takes to be successful as your area Case IH dealer. With locations in Marysville, Washington, Clay Center, Seneca, Hiawatha, and Humboldt, Nebraska. Stop by or give them a call today.
Welcome into this week's edition of the TVL Rundown, as always with Jeff Wurtz of the TVL Sports Spotlight. We're in the thick of high school basketball now in 2026, getting ready to look at the TVL tournament here in a couple weeks, but we had some pretty exciting games Tuesday night. Jeff, I want to start off with one that kind of caught my attention, or two of them. The Centralia Panthers on the boys' side, they got a 57-53 overtime win over Onega, and then a heck of a contest between Lynn and Washington boys. That ended with a 70-68 win for the Lynn Bulldogs in that one. I think it's going to show that as these teams start to get into TVL play, like we talked about early in the season, I think there's going to be some really even matchups here throughout the year.
Oh, without a doubt. Every night out, it seems like you're going to get at least one or two really good games. And we talked about this off air. We don't see a lot of lopsided games anymore in this league. I think everybody has gotten to a par where it's going to be competitive anywhere along the schedule any night.
Oh, I completely agree, and I think that's what makes this season's, and every season too, so exciting from that standpoint. And a few girls' scores from Tuesday night that kind of caught my attention again. The Blue Valley girls stuck with Hanover winning that one 54-43, and then a team that we've talked about all season, but the Axtell Eagles dominated Frankfort 55-11. For the Axtell Eagles ladies team defensively, they've now held 2 straight opponents to just 11 points, and I think head coach Brad Broxterman has that team defensively playing well, and good to see them picking up wins because they started league schedule off tough with Valley Heights and Lynn.
And, it's fun for both you and I to see where this Axtell team has come from to what they are now. That's what progress is. They are showing the definition of progress throughout the last couple of years, and they're here, and they're here to stay.
That they are. And looking at the rankings here in the state of Kansas, there's a lot of TVL teams. And Jeff, I think I'm going to turn it over to you. What did you put out the other day? That there were 9 Twin Valley League teams between boys and girls that were ranked in the state of Kansas?
9 teams. It was absolutely incredible to see. I looked at that and I said, is this the TVL standings or is this a state standings? Just the way that they are able to get it done. Let's run through those quickly. Valley Heights, now your number 6 team in 2A. Doniphan West right behind them at number 8. The Centralia girls in the top 3 now in 1AD1. And in 1AD2 is where you see the fun on the girls' side. Hanover, the top team. Lynn coming in at number 3. And the Blue Valley Lady Rams sitting now at number 9 on the girls' side. So good to see some fresh blood in there, and Blue Valley deserves it because they have played a very good beginning of the season and now are in the top 10 in the state.
Oh, and we talked about them earlier in the season. Blue Valley Lady Rams now 7-2, and we mentioned the TVL tournament, how those standings are starting to shape out. The Lynn girls 9-2, Valley Heights 7-2, Hanover 6-1, with Blue Valley being 7-2. A lot of these teams are going to be jockeying for position going into the TVL tournament, and of course we know how important the top 3 seeds are getting that first round bye. But if you get that 4th seed, this might be one of the years, especially in the girls, where that 4th seed, I think, can make a run all the way to the tournament championship game.
I totally agree. That middle of the pack, and I shouldn't even say 4 seed is the middle of the pack, but there's going to be someone that will surprise people. Maybe I don't know the TVL as well as you and I do, but there's going to be a team that sneaks up in there and maybe contends for a championship. I think this year's girls' side especially, this might be the most exciting year we've had in the TVL tournament for quite some time.
I'm with you there. I think the girls' side's going to be exceptional. When we look at the boys' records right now, Axtell and Hanover obviously 1-2 in the state rankings in Class 1A Division II. They're both undefeated with 7 wins. And then after that, you have teams like Donovan West, who's 6-4, Frankfort 7-5, Lynn, who's 7-4 too as well. They're going to have opportunities to make noise, but I really do think after seeing Hanover a couple weeks ago, seeing Axtell too as well early in the season, those two teams I think can really separate themselves from the pack on the boys' standings as the season goes on.
And we know these two teams inside and out, no matter if it's basketball, football, whatever sport. And I love this term. They've got some dudes, and they are going to continue that role, I think, until they meet up. And then we find out exactly who is the cream of the crop in the Twin Valley League on the boys' side. Right now, as much as you want to say it's just a 2-man race, there's still several teams in there that I think could make a really nice run, not only at the tournament, but throughout the end of the year. I don't think this is wrapped up for either Axtell or Hanover, but I really think we could see a potential 3rd team in there that has a very good chance of at least knocking a team off one night. That's what's exciting about the Twin Valley League. You just will always have that inkling that someone is going to get you.
Well, and, I'll piggyback on your thought there as, we look towards the end of the season, especially on the boys' standings. There are teams, we mentioned it, Donovan West, I think Frankfort, Lynn, possibly Blue Valley, Centralia. Those are some teams that are going to take their lumps in the Twin Valley League. But once they get out of it and get into sub-state play and play other teams throughout the state, we say it every year and we see it every year. The Twin Valley is going to show what they're made of once we get to postseason play.
There are teams that actively, on the state level, don't want to see a team from the Twin Valley League, no matter what the record. They don't want to see them.
I'll completely agree. If I'm a coach everywhere in the state and I get a Twin Valley League team, I'm going to be saying, boy, this is going to be a rock fight. And as we look at Friday's schedule, too, there's some really interesting matchups. I'm going to start with the Donovan West girls and the Valley Heights girls. They're going to match up down at Valley Heights. That's, like you mentioned earlier, 2 of the top teams in Class 2A. Some other interesting games, the Frankfort boys, Clifton Clyde boys. I think that's going to be a really good one. And then Washington at Centralia. That boys game's going to be an interesting matchup of 2 athletic teams, 2 teams that really like to get up and down the court too as well. So Friday's schedule is going to be another one for the books, as well as Axtell's going to take on Bishop Seabury in a out-of-league matchup, but a really good contest for them. And then a contest on FM 95.5 between Hanover and Onega. Those first 3 games that I mentioned, though, those are going to have some implications on the TVL tournament standings.
Oh, without a doubt. And this is maybe the night that we circle late in February or March that was really the separator for some of these teams. We'll find out exactly where they are in these standings, really where they are as teams, where they can contend down the road as well.
And I don't want to look too terribly far ahead at the schedule, but next Tuesday, I think there's a matchup looming that we're going to have on FM 95.5 again. It's Lynn at Hanover. That one, of course, a rematch of the Girls State Championship game last year. We talked about both the Lynn boys and the Hanover boys having an opportunity, and we'll talk about that game next week after it's done. But I just want to highlight that one real quick. If you want to go watch some really good basketball, go on over to Hanover Tuesday night when they host the Lynn Bulldogs. That's going to be an exceptional game. And like I said, too, if you can't make it, tune into FM 95.5 as we have the call on that one. Jeff, I think that one, like we said, girls rematch of a state championship, I don't think it gets any bigger game before the TVL tournament.
You think so? Two top teams in the state playing each other in just a random January game. You think that's important? You're darn right that's important. That game is one that's going to be not missed. And I'm envious, Max, that you get to call that game because it's going to be absolute rocket boosters. Actually, both of these games I think could be very competitive. You guys picked a really good one right there.
And it's going to be a heck of a way to kick off the TVL tournament that starts January 17th over in Washington. Of course, next week we will have a preview of that one with the brackets being released. But as always, Jeff, too, throughout this season, you've keeping up on stats and scores and stories throughout the Twin Valley League. Where can everyone find that?
Head on over to tvlspotlight.com. New podcast up today, and as well as tvlspotlight.blog for all of your standings and stats and scores. I've got everything covered. I hope we'll find out during the TVL tournament.
It's the best time of the year. I think like we talked about it here in a couple Saturdays over at Washington for the TVL tournament. Again, this is Max Blaske with KNDY Radio for Jeff Wurtz of the TVL Sports Spotlight. We thank you all for tuning in this week. We'll have a preview of the TVL tournament on next week's edition of the TVL Rundown.
You've been tuned in to the TVL Rundown, a comprehensive look at the athletics and athletes within the Twin Valley League. Joined by Jeff Wurtz of the TVL Spotlight, I'm Max Blaske with KNDY. The TVL Rundown is a service of the Citizens National Bank in Greenleaf and Bruna Implement.